Hello everyone, welcome to another Rummy review. Today we are looking at another figure. This time it's from Play Arts Kai, a series of figures which I've never even bought or looked at ever before. So this is the first Play Arts Kai figure I've ever touched, and I gotta say, first impressions, it looks pretty awesome. I'll get into more detail as soon as I just wrap up this intro here. This is clearly a figure from the Final Fantasy franchise, the most famous video game franchise ever. If you don't know that, you're probably been living under a rock forever. But anyway, this is Cloud Strife right here, main protagonist. This is from the movie Advent Children. This is clearly what it's based off of specifically, but regardless, the box looks pretty slick. It's taking up a lot of my camera here, as you can see, but there's a big, fat, ugly warning logo right there in the corner, which it's not that big of a deal. We got a Play Arts Kai logo right there, and we also have some more franchise logos right there. Cloud Strife right there, number 7. I believe this is, I don't know what that means. Is this like one of a few select figures that they've made? If so, I'm actually really impressed, because I found this at a EB Games, which is basically Canada's GameStop. So to find a figure like this just sitting in a video game store, which I guess makes sense because it's video game related, but still, a figure of this quality, $150 in quality, I might add, just sitting in EB Games is actually pretty impressive. Usually they don't have high-end products like this, but I'm actually really impressed that I was able to find something like this. I do dabble a bit in the Final Fantasy games, and I have seen the movie specifically, Advent Children there, so yeah, I wanted to get this figure. So a quick look around the box here is not a whole lot. It's mostly very plain. We got Cloud Strife right there, looking all dark and brooding. We have the Final Fantasy logo, stuff like that. We have more logos there on the side. Same thing on this side, really no difference. And on the back here, we also have more shots. Hold on, let's get some more light. There we go. That might be a bit better. Yeah, kind of. But if I hold it up like that, you can see it a bit better. But yeah, the box is pretty dark. Looks pretty sick. I do like those poses there. So yeah, there's that. We also got a lot of warning information. Square Enix. And of course, barcode stuff. Nothing new there. And of course, again, more warning logos at the top of the box and franchise logos. Now, this is one of those figures that comes with the open door thing. So you can open it and take a look at the figure in more detail there. So that's pretty cool. Got Cloud's little chest piece right there, the insignia, and of course we have a nice little introduction to Cloud Strife on the back of the door, as well as a more dynamic pose of Cloud Strife to the right. Looks pretty sick. This looks really awesome. I'm actually really hyped that I was able to find something like this in a residential area of mine. This is quite a lucky snag for me. But yeah, look at that. Look at that fusion sword right there. That is crazy. And of course there's hand pieces there. You can't see them too well. At first I thought that, like, because they blend in with the plastic so well, I thought the hand pieces were missing. And I was, for a second, panicking because I was like, oh no. But no, they're there. So that's good. So I will probably take the figure out off camera because this looks like it's going to require a bit of wear and tear. Alright, so here we have Cloud Strife pulled out of the box and fully accessorized. So, I lied. There is actually some felt on this figure, and that is right here on his little claw, or his little sash here that goes down his leg. And it's got a metal frame inside, so you can bend it and pose it to whichever way. I'm not going to mess around with that with one hand, because he's not very sturdy with all this stuff sticking on his back and how lopsided it is because of his sword. He's actually very difficult to stand properly, which is one problem I have with him. The second is the hand pieces. Now, it's not that they're poorly sculpted or anything, it's that the hand pieces that are designed to hold onto the handles of some of these swords are actually made out of a really, really tough plastic, so they're not very easy to bend and slip the handle in. And unfortunately, there's no like easier method to attach them, so it's actually really hard to put swords in and out of his hands. So that's one major problem I have with the figure, but honestly I think that's the only real issue I have with this figure. Another thing is that this, I didn't realize some of the stand parts had to be actually built, like screwed together and stuff like this, as you can probably tell from this one piece. But I'll get into that in a bit. But let's get into the good first, because that's what I really want to jump into this video with. So, yes, really, really nice sculpt. I love the hair. The hair looks awesome. If you guys can see that a bit closer, that looks really nice. I love the detail putting into the hair here. But yeah, the main eye catcher of this figure is obviously his swords. So if we take a look around here, I'm going to get the stand out of the way for a second. You can see he just comes with a buttload of swords here that all come out of the sheath, as I will show off. So we'll start with this one, because, oh man, these are actually pretty hard to pull out. Okay, come on, there we go. So here we have his individual sword pieces. Now this one can be attached to the hands. I think they all can, actually, now that I think about it. I'm not really sure, because some of them have different handles. But here's one blade. Here's these two ridge back blades here. So those look pretty cool. We got two more of these smaller cleavers of some kind. And we have a very large piece of the fusion sword, which I took the liberty of leaving one of the hand pieces on here because they're just a pain to pull on and off. I kind of wish they had the screw off method, where you can take off the hilt of the sword, or sorry, the end of the sword or whatever, and just slide the hand on and off, which would have been a lot easier considering how dense these hand pieces are. I would have preferred that. We also have these two hand pieces here. We have a fist, and we have an open palm. You can see those very well. Just like that. We have this alternative arm here, which is the sleeveless right arm, which has a little red sash there around his bicep. We have his other fist right there. And yeah. Now, the figure itself, all these blades do go in these little sheaths right here. Alright, so here we have the actual fusion sword here. Looks a lot like the Buster sword. Looks pretty sick. I can't even get it in the camera. It's so huge. But yeah, it looks really nice. Is also really heavy. So that's, again, causes some issues with standing the figure up, which without the stand, it wouldn't be able to at all, I think. Speaking of which, the stand has this nice little adjustable part here, so you can actually like lock it in various different positions. If this will go on, there we go. So you can make it as long as you want. So that's awesome. One thing I thought was really weird, and honestly I thought really unnecessary, was the fact that you had to screw in together a lot of these parts, which was a big pain in the butt. Also, some of these came in sprue kits, so I had to cut off some of the parts and trim down some of the ends that were sticking off of the parts. That was also a big pain in the butt. So, yeah, I guess another problem I have with the figure, I mean, maybe it's just me being lazy, but I honestly would prefer if you didn't have to do that, but whatever. Also, I realize you can barely see the stand because it blends in with my wall. So, yeah, sorry about that. Now, I'm going to use my flashlight method here so you can see the face a bit more clearly. Really nice. Sculpted really well. Love the eyes. Those are like a nice ocean blue there. Again, the lips, the nose, the flesh of the lips doesn't bleed into the rest of the skin, so that's really awesome. I really like that. Now, the sleeve arm does come off. If you saw in the beginning of the video, he didn't have this part on. But yeah, it just pulls out like that. And then you can just take this arm and slide it in. And boom, there you go. Now you got more of a battle-ready Cloud. So yeah, that's almost about everything, I think. Yeah, pretty much covered all the bases. Again, the stand does come with this alternative claw piece, I guess. That's maybe to support the head. Doesn't really fit on. I don't know which part of the figure this can hold on to, but I guess these are adjustable. Yeah, I forgot. These are adjustable. So like that, maybe? Still doesn't really work as well. Whatever. So, yeah, they give you an alternative claw piece there to hold the figure. But aside from that, that's really all there is. The figure looks really awesome. I love it. It looks really cool. And aside from some of the hand part issues as well as assembling the stand, this is pretty much a flawless figure, I think. It's really awesome. A must-have for a Final Fantasy fan if you're into collecting all the memorabilia and stuff. Forgot to mention, too, the articulation of this figure. Pretty much standard stuff. You got the elbow joints. You got the bicep swivel. You can move the shoulder up and down. His head is also on a ball joint, so it can rotate in every direction, as you can clearly see. This little shoulder guard here goes up and down. Works just fine. And the shoes are one of the problems that I have with the articulation here. They're really hard to get them to stand properly because they have all these different joints here. The legs aren't really symmetrical with one another, so sometimes it's one foot's higher than the other, if that makes any sense. But the sculpt on his pants looks really cool as well. The knee joints are really well hidden, so you can't really see the actual joint parts on the inside. The back is a bit more bare, but you know, with this thing covering it, it's really not a big deal, and you're not really seeing him from behind too much anyway. But yeah, that's pretty much it. He also, yeah, wrist joints, those are pretty standard. They can move in any which way, even improbable ways. But yeah, this is Cloud Strife, and he is freaking awesome, and I would love to get more Final Fantasy PlayArts figures in the near future. I hear they're making a Sephiroth one, which will be coming out sometime in February, I hear, which, if that's the case, I'll most likely get him just so I can have him next to Cloud. But yeah, that's pretty much the figure. Alright guys, that's going to wrap up this figure review. If you enjoyed it, please comment, like, and subscribe, and I shall see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.